Hey everybody, it's Angela, and I just have a couple of project shares to do today, and these are a couple of layouts I've done for my travel scrapbook, and there's two of them here that I did for Nicaragua, and one of them was a layout about the leafcutter ants that you see all over in the jungle there, and I absolutely loved them. I was entranced with them. I had seen leafcutter ants on a video as a kid, and I was just really taken with them. So to be able to see them in real life was just so awesome, and I could have spent hours just watching them. And I would actually, my husband was working there, and he had the car, and so I would walk quite a ways up the volcano and stuff out into the jungle to see them. And I didn't have the greatest camera then, so I have this one picture of the leaves and the ants going into their nest, and it's somewhat blurry. And then I had this picture of the ants, but you know, they're still, it's kind of small. I mean, there's an ant there and one there, and then, you know, like there's the ant holding this piece of leaf. And so what I did was to kind of play the pictures up, because I have video of them, but to put them in my scrapbook, to play this picture up, I decided to pop the bits of leaves up onto pop dots. And so I took a leaf stamp and just stamped it a bunch of times on some green cardstock. And then I kind of cut the shape of the leaf out to match the actual piece of leaf that's underneath here that the ant was carrying, and just kind of scattered them around. And I used this graphic 45 paper that actually has a beautiful illustration of like a bird or a flower or something. And but I love the jungle look of the leaves and stuff, so I went ahead and used it for this layout. And on the first layout for my travel album, I used a map off of Google Maps that I printed out, a screenshot. And so on this one I used a tag with a map print on it, and I think what I'm going to do is use a map somewhere on every travel layout that I do. And this was actually really simple. All I did was I matted the photos. I lifted this one on pop dots, and I used this kind of white paper at the top and bottom just to cover up that colorful print that was on here. And I put my tag and then did all my stamping and fussy cutting of that. I used some thickers, and then I didn't have enough A's to do Nicaragua and leafcutter ants, and so I wound up breaking into two different letter stickers in order to spell that out. But so anyhow, I'm really glad, even though the photos weren't great, I still, you know, I made it kind of cool having those, because with these leaves popping up, it really looks like what I remember, and it was just so much fun to watch them and stuff. So I'm glad to be able to preserve that memory in my scrapbook. And the second travel layout is also of Nicaragua, and we would go there, we would be there from like after Thanksgiving through New Year. And they actually make fireworks. They manufacture them in Nicaragua, so the locals love to get them and shoot them off on Christmas Eve and New Year's. And in town, in Granada, the safest place to light them off is the center median of the streets in town. And the only thing is that they don't block the traffic off when they light their fireworks. You just light them, and people will still be walking by and bicycling by and driving and everything, with all these different fireworks going off. And so I didn't have any still shots because it was night, and again, my camera back then wasn't the greatest, but I had video of it, so I took some stills to tell the story. And since my husband wasn't working, everything closes down on Christmas there. We got some fireworks with some friends of ours, and there's my husband like throwing it out into the street, and it goes off with this big boom and sets all the car alarms off. But essentially, I got this new chalkboard print. I think it's my Mind's Eye. It's the new set that came out at Joann's, and so I got that, and I loved this sentiment, and I cut it down to put it on here because my husband and I are always doing something. We're never bored, and so sometimes what we do winds up being a little crazy, but you know, it kept us busy. And so anyhow, I wanted to use that, and I just layered it. And then to bring some color in, I used some of these gold and teal and yellow stars, kind of to give the feel of fireworks going off. I used some thickers here that are the flocked, so they're kind of fuzzy. And then the Nicaragua is subtle there, but I went ahead and put that on there. Since I had a longer story to tell with these photos, I went ahead and did it on the computer, and so it would all fit on there. And I just kind of told the story, and then I used a flare badge with a map on it for this one, for my little touch of a map on the layout. And so again, this is a pretty simple layout, but I'm glad to get this story, even though the photos aren't very good, it was enough to tell the story and get the story into my scrapbook. So, don't worry that you don't have like professional quality photos or something. If you have a story to tell, just get in there and tell it. So anyhow, this is my third layout for my travel journal, and I'm really having fun with this. So if you have any questions or anything, just leave me a comment. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.